This podcast contains mature language. Listener discretion is advised.
Chapter 26, Devastation.
Walking through the remains of the manor, kind of looking over the town, he looks back, and it's just the sea of smoke. You see just these light points all over town of the fire still burning. And he just sighs and takes a breath. And the two guardsmen are still standing there. You see Cost has taken a seat on a piece of old brick rubble, leaning on his staff, just looking out over everything. And the disc is still hovering there with the drow and Gundren on it.
Silder, this is Cost. He helped us in our last battle just to attempt to actually get here to Phandelver. And we got matters to discuss as soon as this is all over.
And Silder looks him over. Kind of his eyes narrow at him. He goes, "You know what those robes mean, right?"
I do. We can talk about it in a bit. Let's focus on the matter at hand. I mean, in my opinion, sir.
All right. And he calls the guards' attention and points them towards Gundren and the drow. And he walks over, surveys the two bodies laying there, and he goes, "You two bring Gundren down to the infirmary. I've got this one." And he grabs the rope binding of the drow and just pulls the drow onto the ground.
Yes.
And starts dragging the drow down the steps into the manor.
I mean, not okay.
The two guards very carefully are carrying Gundren downstairs behind him.
Let's
you two follow?
Mm-hmm. Do. And I motion to Cost too. Let's go.
Cost stands up, and the disc winks out. Yeah. Hopefully the air down here is a bit better. He follows behind you too. And you walk in the cistern room that you originally had invaded. Has been repurposed. You can see that there are some provisions neatly stacked up in here. But there now hangs a few banners of the Lord's Alliance. Part of the reconfiguration and taking over the town after the Red Brands had been disposed of during your week had been, you'd noticed that Silder had directed the guards towards the manor, but you had mostly been on your own during that time, and now, but you'd heard some of the guards talking about the renovation work. And down here you see just to the side of the cistern is the room that originally only had a couple of cots in that you had been ambushed by, had been set up as an infirmary. And they immediately bring Gundren in there and lay him down on a cot. You see one of the guardsmen who is wearing his chain shirt as part of his uniform, but he doesn't have any gauntlets or helmet on, open up a couple of small boxes, and you see him take out bandages and start tending to Gundren. He looks him over and brings a blanket and kind of tucks Gundren in.
I thought he was going to cover him.
He walks over and he says, "Your friend is going to be okay. He just needs rest. Doesn't seem to have any lingering injuries of any kind. How long was he out?"
We picked him up, 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
Yeah, well, since we got to him 2 days ago. Yes.
Silder goes, he's been missing at least 2 weeks. I have no idea what they did to him.
We try to heal him as best as possible, just for transport.
And the medic looks back over at him, looks back at you, and says, that's good. Good that you did. He looks like he wouldn't have made it otherwise.
Can I lean into Silder and like whisper in his ear, somebody really wants him bad. So we need him awake as quickly as possible.
And anything you can do about that? No, he just has to come back to us. There's really nothing wrong with him physically. It's just the strain of what he went through.
Okay. Well, we need to secure him because whoever attacked us, and I'll give you more details, they want him. And I don't know if this is related to what just happened in town.
And Silder, still holding the drow by the rope, says, well, securing him's not going to be a problem, and drags him out down the hall, down the long hallway that you ventured through, and you can see the trap door that you've been acquainted with. You can see that the door itself is still open, but that they had filled the pit in with dirt.
Okay.
And he just drags him right through it, through the old crypt and into the holding cells that the Red Brands had set up, and just shoves the drow body in there and secures the padlock and puts the keys on his belt. Says, well, whenever he decides to wake up, we can have a chat.
Okay. Is who is in the room right now?
It is you, Silder, Meilin, and there are 2 guardsmen who are in the crypt, just on and standing watch position.
And where's Cost?
You look out of the holy cell, and Cost is in the crypt looking around, and he's looking at because the columns in the room had that architectural design work of like trees and tree trunks that go up to like branches for the supports in the room, and he is just, it looks like he's admiring the masonry work.
I mean, you seem to be really interested in those. I talked to Cost.
It's rather beautiful architecture. Whoever constructed this crypt, their family was rather well off. The craftsmanship is exquisite quality.
Would you like to take a closer look while I have a conversation with Silder? Try to break truce here?
I trust you to speak for me in this matter, but I'll just take a seat. And he sits there right on the lid of one of the coffins.
Okay. Are we far away enough with Silder in conversation after we move on?
You direct Silder to the storeroom where you guys had found the weaponry, and Silder looks at Cost, looks at you, and follows you in. And Silder stops in the doorway as you 2 enter in, and he says, you 2, if he needs anything, food, water, make sure he's comfortable. Yes, sir. And Silder closes the door. So it's just you guys in this kind of repurposed armory. You having never been down here before, it looks as if it was an old kind of ornate crypt structure under what had been a manor that's been retrofitted into a barracks of some type. And Silder goes, so what in the 9 hells are you doing with a wizard from Thay?
And I tell him what happened in the last battle, like how we encounter him, what was going on in the tower that he was researching. And I let him know, it's like, this is just between us. You cannot tell this to anybody else in the Lord's Alliance. The only reason he's with us, it's because we accepted that we were not going to interfere at the moment while he moved away later on. So
you're telling me he's a rogue wizard from Thay? That he's out on his own?
He doesn't seem like the biggest obstacle currently.
No, clearly not.
And I'm saying even bigger
But he's also Thay is a massive threat to the Alliance.
Imagine how surprised we were when he asked us to join them.
He asked you.
Yeah. So there has to be something bigger than both
If
of
he didn't
us.
want us here alive, we wouldn't be. His
Yeah, that's
strength
true.
seems way beyond our capabilities currently. And he had fear of something that can end all in our world. Everything. Not just our town, not just us individually.
He thinks for a moment. Having a Thayan Archmage on our side is not exactly the worst thing in the world. Can we trust him?
So far, it seems like it. And whatever he's afraid of has already found possibly Gundren's map to Wave Echo Cave, which apparently is the key to unlocking the damnation of our world.
Sir, there's something called like Oblivion itself. He says it's something much bigger than ourselves, something dark.
Is there, we're in the room is like a storage room?
Yeah, it's a small, it's about 15 by 15 foot room and 10
What
of the
stuff
feet.
is in it? Weapons and stuff?
It's
or-
full of weaponry. You see a couple Lords Alliance banners hanging from two of the walls, but there's weapon racks
Okay.
laying out in the room.
The floor, is it like,
It's a stone floor.
okay, is it kind of dirty?
It could probably use a good sweeping. You can tell that, soldiers
So-
wearing boots traverse through here, but I mean,
Since we don't
it's
have
not like filthy.
Since we don't have anything on us, I want to kind of just, if there's like a thin layer of dust, I want to take my bow staff and just kind of draw the little triangle thing that we've seen with the eye in the center of it. that
Yeah,
we've seen
it's
over and
it's
over.
relatively clean in here. It takes you a little bit to gather up a dust pile,
Okay.
and then you draw out the triangular symbol that you've seen.
And I asked Silder, have you seen anything like this? We've come across it time and time again through our travels.
He's looking at his brows just furrowing. I have no idea what this is. I'm not an arcanist by any stretch, but this isn't any religious iconography I know. This isn't anything I've seen.
Well, apparently it has to do with bringing the end or some type of cult that's organizing for this cause.
They're called a servant of the eye, and I think the black spider's their leader right now.
We have to keep an eye out for this.
He thinks for a moment. I've never heard of the servants of the eye. I mean,
Awesome.
no, nothing rings a bell.
Well, we encountered some ogres first as we were actually traveling with Gundren on our way here.
So it's drow and ogres.
It's a big organization, yeah.
They had it carved into their chest.
And then if
It seems
I
like
hate believers.
if you look into the drow over there, he does have the
I kind of
same
give him a look and
icon.
he says that's, I mean, it's kind of in my order of, I'm like, oh, okay.
But, and this time I actually whisper, like I get closer to Silver. It's like, that thing that just happened out there, I don't know what it is. But us having a powerful wizard, right? I wasn't peeking or looking as to when we first arrived here. Just letting you know ahead of time. So I trust him up to us.
The enemy of my enemy is my traveling companion, is it?
So far, yeah.
At this point. So I say we continue and we help each other as best as possible. And maybe he'll give us information that we need for the Lord's Alliance at the same time. But our main purpose should be the Black Spider still. And my brother's still with him.
We seem to have a common goal with Cost. And if he wanted us dead, again, he probably would have arranged
Oh, he
that.
would have killed you easily.
It seemed like it.
He wants something. Here's the problem. What if it's the Forge itself also?
Oh, if he wants the forge, he would have been going for the forge, right?
Yeah, but maybe he's one wizard. What if he's has
There's no such thing as just one wizard. They can pull things out of their ass that are unbelievable.
My statement would be, if he's going against the other red wizards of the day, just so he can become more powerful than them by taking control of the forge, that's also a possibility.
I think right now we need to take this as a day-by-day basis because Gundren had information. We don't know what the enemy has gotten out of him, along with our map.
Well, if they have the map, they know where it is.
Yeah, but they wanted Gundren anyway. They need him for something.
We need to keep him safe, but I don't think time is on our side.
I think Gundren might have found the actual forge, and it's inside somewhere in Vega Cave. They just don't know where.
Gundren was really cagey about what he found.
Does your town have a strong healer that maybe can help with Angus?
Not one who's conscious. Normally, we'd be speaking with Sister Gariel right now, but thankfully, especially if your friend Angus out there can help, she'll be speaking again, but it's not an option available to us right now.
He's a pretty strong healer. He can do well.
Can we get a word out to the Lord's Alliance about what just happened now, see if we can get some more reinforcements? Because if we're thinking that we need to head out, we might need more people.
You might want to let them know. They might need to shift.
I need to secure this town. I need to make sure these people are safe.
What about the order? Is there any other people in your order that can come help?
It would be too difficult to reach out. It's
You
possible.
You must have a network.
There's only a
They
handful
know
of
where the
people.
cave is. Correct?
They apparently does. Yeah, they do.
Well, we had the maps and now they're gone.
But we remember, it's not only Radith actually tell us like what location area was. We took a good look at those maps. If I see
Yeah,
another map,
Radolf is here.
We need to
Well,
list.
he's around somewhere. You know them.
he knows where it is. So
You're telling me that bastard's known the entire time?
yes, which and sir, it's not the most reliable person to work with.
No.
Did he
no,
come
he's-
here?
There's more bird shit in his head than brains.
But he might be
Did
also
he give you the
good
information we sent him to tell you?
Yeah, that you were setting out for Cragmaw Castle.
Do not let him know that this is the wizard that was actually in that tower. That this just
What does Radolf want with him?
I don't know who
well.
employs him.
Well, he wanted him gone, and now he's gone.
He wanted us to find out what was going on in that
And
area.
we did.
And we can just tell him that whatever it is, it already ceased and moved on.
We still
We
kept
don't
our
know.
word. We
Which
still
is
kept
true.
our
We
word.
don't know what happened afterwards.
He didn't tell us to kill anyone. He
Look,
said to.
Whatever
find out-
Radolf wants, I don't care.
We have
Radolf
bigger
is-
problems here now.
But
Yeah. I was about to say my entire town is on fire.
Literally.
let's bring in priority. So the town's the first thing that we need to look into. Do we know how this happened? Like what kind of spell this was?
I have absolutely no idea what happened. I was at the front gate, and then everything went white, and then everything was on fire.
I think if we can find Radoth or whoever else we can with all the guards that we need, once everyone is secured in the inn, we need to go to the epicenter in the middle and find out what happened. Investigate where this came from. We were at the top of the hill, and we saw this bright light exploding, and then
Hey,
fire.
Meilin. So Solder, what if you have a conversation with Cost, obviously welcoming him in, and ask him if he can attempt to actually identify what's going on, and then who could have done something like that? He must have a great resource of information.
Great minds think alike. Is there anything else I need to know that they don't?
Did I already tell him everything I technically knew? We talked about the place that we went. Oh, the dragon. Did I tell him? I mean, I could have told him the whole story about the Radoth himself, right?
I was about to say, just to speed through, do you just give him a recap?
I do a recap of what happened on the travels.
Yeah, you explain to him the truce that you hammered out with the remains of the Cragmaw tribe.
And then I made sure to bring back Val safely, as well as Gundren. Gonna help with that too. But the whole story.
You mean the building that I've already destroyed and they had that stuff in it? Yes.
You mentioned the
I
staff.
didn't say the stuff.
Are you gonna mention the stuff?
I didn't say the stuff.
Okay. Are you gonna mention it?
No. I just said with the whole story, we
We'll move in a bit.
saved them.
We will ask. Yeah. So, a whole recap. The Crackman tribe.
I know your whole town's on fire and life is shit, but I want my stick.
What
I
about this
did not
stick?
mention it. I did not mention it, and I'm not going to.
Full
Just saying.
recap.
Okay. You see Silder kind of furrow his brow and look not exactly happy with your news about the Cragmaw tribe. And he says, if I catch one whiff of those things anywhere near this town, I will kill them all. But if they hold up their end of the bargain, we're not going to go after them. But if there's a problem, I'm sending you.
Fair enough. But can I just say something?
Speak.
Up until now, we didn't even know where Crackman Castle was. It's not like we're gonna miss it.
One of them steps a toe out of line. That's all I'm saying.
Just let me know.
Now about your friend out there. I don't know if you know anything about Thayan wizards, but their tattoos are marks of station. He's an archmage of some kind. Otherwise, he wouldn't have that many markings on him. Did he seem inclined to be negotiable?
He did.
Or is he just out to save his own ass?
It didn't seem that way. It seemed he was very concerned about utter world destruction. So,
That's kind of a big thing.
yeah. It kind of seemed bigger than him, no matter what his end game goal was.
All right, anything else I need to know that they can't?
Did you tell him about your brother?
They might use him for a ritual to bring this oblivion upon us.
We found a part of a dragonborn. Some type of ritualistic shrine. And according to our cost friend out here, dragon blood can be very useful when it comes to whatever their rituals can be used for. We're not sure 100%, but we have reason to believe they might have taken Krypton.
That doesn't bode well at all. None of this does. No. First things first, a deal's a deal. And he pulls the key ring off and he unlocks the iron barred gate into the armory. You see him walk over to one of the benches that's set in the back of the room. And he pulls out this long case, sets it on top, pulls another key, unlatches it, and he pulls out a quarterstaff that looks translucent. And he walks over and he goes, take this. None of my men have any use for it. We don't have any arcanists here, unless your friend Costa's willing to throw in. Doubt he will, but I'm sure he's got better than that. We had it retooled for you just in case you'd come back.
Well, I appreciate it, and I kind of bow to him, thinking just in awe. Thank you so much.
And as you hold it, it feels like metal. It feels like an iron rod, even though it looks like glass. But it has kind of a leather wrapping in the center, big enough for two hands, and seems to be kind of outfitted for your purposes.
I will make great use of it. Thank you.
Good. Good, because your work here may be done, but your work isn't. I've got a job. One last one.
I swear myself to you to help Val in anything you need him to do.
I just want to say that I'm like, okay.
I know your order doesn't have much use for coin, but I still pay all of my men a wage if you're joining me and you're joining the Alliance. Do with it what you will. But you answer to me. And if I'm not here, if I'm not around, you answer to Val. Is that right with you, Sergeant?
And
Yes, sir.
I say any of my share of coin goes to Val to do as with yours.
It goes to you. You want to give it back to him, that's your business. I just make sure all of my men are properly paid. And
As I can see, and I'm admiring the staff.
Sergeant, I need you to come with me here as we talk to our new friend. Unfortunately, my old Sergeant Quillen, I saw you pull him out of the wreckage. He'll be hopefully okay in time, but for now, you're it.
And he pulls open the door and he walks into the room. The two guards who were in there immediately straighten up at attention as he comes in. And you see Cost has his book that he'd been working on when you first met him out, and he's just reading a few pages. He glances up, he sees you all. Yes.
That's an interesting item. It's a staff of glass, eh?
Seems to be.
Intriguing. How many other tricks do you have laying around, I wonder? And so there goes. We have a few things here. We're fairly well provisioned.
And he sits down on the coffin that is next to the one that Cost is currently sitting on. And he says,
What I can offer you is protection here. I'm not saying you're on the run from anything. I'm not saying you're needing to hide from anything. I'm saying up until this morning, I had a town, well guarded, well provisioned. And what I don't have is an arcanist. I could use one. You seem an amiable enough type.
Cost kind of leans back. I think I gather your meaning. It's possible we could come to an agreement if I have time to think about it. For now, if you would be kind enough to afford me accommodations nearly to rest, I'd be willing to extend help in any matters you have currently. So there goes.
I have one thing for you. Go with my sergeant here. See if you can't figure out what the hell happened to my town. I have other things to attend to, so if I'm not here, he speaks for me. He does like to talk, doesn't he?
You do see Meilin smirk. Just ever so slightly.
So there goes.
He's young. We all learn in time. Maybe you could even teach him a few things. He's a good student. Now, my men will escort you, my sergeant, and his friend here. I need to know what happened and if it's going to happen again. Sergeant, do you think you can handle this?
Yes, sir.
Costa. For now, this is acceptable. But I won't be accosted by any of your men. I've already lived under the hammer once. I'm not doing it again. I have no interest in harming anyone. But I'm done ruling under an iron fist. Silver goes, you're free to go whenever you want. Help us, we'll help you. Stands up. Well, lead the way, Sergeant.
Okay. Just turn around and start walking towards the center of the town.
Okay, so you guys exit out of the building.
As we're heading out, I just quickly I ask Koth, you seem to know a bit about this type of staff. Have you seen it before? Can you tell me a little bit about it? If you haven't yet.
No, I've not seen that specific item before, but it seemed rather rudimentary. If I had some time to study it, I could tell you more.
Okay. How much time do you need?
Thanks for me. No, we seem to be in a hurry. Hand it.
Kind of slowly, but keeping my eye on it.
He
My
takes
new
it. You see him kind of cast a little bit of energy flowing from his fingers into the item. You hear him kind of muttering under his voice. This is a minor staff of striking.
Oh. Awesome.
And
What would that do? DM?
I was about to say, for the DM information,
Yeah.
a minor staff of striking is a magical weapon. It has 3 charges. At dawn, it recharges 1d3 charges. Should it run out of charges, you have to roll a d20. On a 1, the item is rendered inert. When you use this item to make an attack, when you hit, you can spend 1 charge to deal an extra d6 force damage.
Okay. Cool. So I can attack on a successful attack with my attack damage. I can spend a charge and use an extra d6.
Correct.
That's the owie damn it stick.
Yeah, it is.
Basically, yeah, it's a staff of Owie Dammit.
Should call it that.
I cast out, damn it.
All right, so he hands the staff back to you, and then he looks at you again. Shall we?
Let's go.
Okay. So the 3 of you exit out, with the 2 guards behind, keeping Koss kind of in the middle. And he goes, where do you think we should start?
Okay. Whatever the center of that thing was.
I think it was closer to the center of your town. That seemed to be where the most damage was.
We move there.
So you guys proceed down the main road back into the center of town. There's still smoke everywhere, but as you pass, most of the fires at this point are either out or burning low. People are still actively putting them out. Most people at this point are tending, and large groups are tending to each other and the harmed in the remains of the Stonehill Inn. You see a few guards are now starting to more calmly patrol actively through the streets. They seem to still be looking for people. Go ahead as you approach the center of town, both of you still at disadvantage, make in either perception or investigation
I
checks.
didn't get the sandy smoke out of my eyes yet.
Well, unfortunately, you're still tired.
Oh, that's right.
Perception 12.
Okay.
Perception, you said? 18.
18. You see in the center of town now that some of the smoke has started to clear, and given how tired you are kind of walking around, you take a step and find it actually with your foot as it goes down a foot into the dirt that there is a circular hole in the center of town. And you look about, kind of waving in the air to clear some of the smoke out of the way, and you see that there is a blast crater in the center of town about 5 feet wide.
Cool. Damn. Anything else? Item-wise, or any particles, anything?
Go ahead and give me an investigation check
At
at disadvantage.
Natural 10. Natural 4. You said investigation?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a 4.
You don't find anything. You see him like kind of digging around in this crater. What are you doing?
It has cost. What do you think could have done this?
It would have had to have been something extremely powerful. There are certain spells that could theoretically cause massive amounts of devastation, but there would have had to have been someone here to do it.
What do you think?
This looks like some sort of concussive device given the hole in the ground.
A device?
Are you able to sense any magic in the area other than ourselves or yourself? Do you feel any presence?
Don't have any means of feeling magic around me, no.
Okay. I knew you can locate people, just wasn't sure.
I would have to scry on a specific person or location. That I could do.
Okay.
Again, I would need to rest first to do that, but I still have some power reserves.
I think we might all need a rest. I think we should check. There's nothing here. I think we need to check back at the inn on Angus and the rest of the town people, make sure that they are safe, because if there is someone out there still, we don't know where. They could be hiding amongst the town folk. They could be hiding in the buildings. We have no idea what's going on.
Okay, I got an idea. We're gonna go to the inn where everybody's congregating.
Because if this blast happens in the inn,
Yeah. So not only that, so I put Cost and my Meilin closer, and it's like if we can somehow lure if he is still in the inn and we can lure them out, like get a reaction or something, then we might know who actually did it.
if you can get the guards to keep an eye out for someone they might not recognize other than us.
What if it was the guards? Somebody there.
It's possible. I think unlikely, but possible. Being the new sergeant of the guards.
I asked Cost, do you have message by any chance?
I could send a message if necessary, yes.
Can you tell Silder the probability of it could have been somebody that's still here or one of the guards? And what would be the best method to, fish him out, basically? I know the message that you send has to be very constrained to something small.
It does, it has to be short. You see him close his eyes, leans on his staff. Lord Hallwinter, your new sergeant believes that there may be a traitor somewhere in your midst. What do you feel is the best method of sussing this person out?
What was
He
that?
waits for a second, and then you see him kind of cock his head a little bit as if he's hearing the voice, listening to someone. And he, look around. Look at everyone here. See if there's anyone you do not recognize. That would be the first step.
I'll do that. And also look for people that don't have any damage, like suit or anything like that. Like they were far away from the place when it happened.
Completely clean.
Or maybe just like a lot less than other people.
I think we should also spread word amongst the guards.
No, don't do that.
I think we should, because other guards that aren't the bad guards
Just
would,
get Angus.
would suss them out.
Let's just start with 4 of us, and then
Okay.
we can move on.
Because I've never seen anybody in this town other than you and the other 2 people.
But I have,
And
right?
neither has Angus.
You're familiar with all the guards. You've been in town for a week before you set out initially.
I'm gonna head to. Let's look for Angus and let's get this
Let's go to the inn.
hunt started.
Okay. So you guys venture over to the inn. Cost keeping a little bit behind you, but just looking around at everything. Every once in a while, you see him kind of look down at the ground, poke something with his staff, and then keep moving. You get into the inn, and you can see that people have been laid out on blankets. There are a few bodies covered entirely with blanket, but they are in the back of what had been the common room of the inn. Most of the people rather heavily burned who are laying on the blankets. You see Sister Gariel laying unconscious with Angus with a roll of cloth binding the leg that you saw was originally crooked in a way it shouldn't have been. There's a few of the other guards that have taken off helmets and they're tending to the rest of the wounded, trying to just care for these people as much as they can. On the other side of the room, sitting at a random assortment of tables and some just sitting on the ground back to the wall, is a good number of townsfolk. You recognize Barathan sitting there with his 2 assistants. They come over and there's a couple of guards staring kind of dazed in the corner. Everyone just...
Is there anyone
that
that
in.
seems too normal?
Make an insight check at
Well-
disadvantage.
While he does that, can I check for the guards that are here if I recognize all of them?
Okay.
I rolled a 19 and a 20.
Very nice.
So 19 plus, you said what? Investigation?
Insight.
Insight?
Has to do with wisdom.
So 21.
21. There's nobody who seems like they're acting very out of character for what you would expect in a situation like this.
I'm looking for someone calm and normal, because everyone else seems to be like they should.
Or
Disheveled and like dazed, freaked out.
The person who
scared.
looks the most unlike anyone, you see a woman wearing very, very dirty and slightly charred, a leather doublet, woolen pants. She has black hair that's tied in a ponytail. She's sitting on the bar in the back, just hands on the side of it, kind of looking down. And every once in a while she glances up and looks at everyone, looks out into the smoke-filled street, and she just, instead of looking shell-shocked, she looks more angry than anything else. But she's the closest to an outlier, but she's looking, doesn't look like she's looking at anything particular, just looking angry, and then she just looks back at her boots.
Val, do you recognize the woman at the bar?
You've seen her every once in a while. You can't exactly remember her name. She would every once in a blue moon come into the inn for a drink. Pretty much kept to herself. She would nod at a few people.
Okay, but she's been here before I even arrived, right? Can I surmise that before I even arrived for the first time with?
Yeah, you
Grant?
know she's one of the townsfolk that had been here the whole time.
Tell him that.
Okay.
Did I catch up with Angus already?
You see him tending to Sister Gariel.
All right, so I go close to him and it's like we need to talk.
Okay, I slowly get up. I'm like, are you okay for a couple of minutes? Just as
She's
you're-
unconscious, no?
And you see her kind of one eye open a little bit, and she just slightly nods, and just her head kind of tilts aside. She goes back to sleep.
And I take Angus, Cost, and Meilin to farther away from the main group.
We'll just step outside, I guess, right? 'Cause we're
Yeah,
just-
Goss didn't go in. He's still
Yeah,
he's standing
so
at the edge. He's looking at everyone, but for the most part, he's been kind of looking around at the ground.
The soldiers that were in there, did I recognize all of them?
Yes, you didn't see any unfamiliar faces.
Okay.
Most of the people you don't know on a personal level, but there's no strange faces. in
As soon
here.
as we walk out, I see Koss kind of been staring at the ground quite often, so I ask him, what are you looking for on the ground, more than around?
Looking at the crater there, something exploded here. I was looking to see if it had been a device or if it was some type of magic I'm unfamiliar with.
I was assessing the same thing, and I didn't see any debris or any materials at the crater. It seems
It
to
would
be
be unlikely if anything was
magic.
to survive a blast this intense. I was just hoping to find a sliver, maybe.
And I tell Angus what we're looking for, basically. Like, we're looking for somebody that seems unfamiliar with the area, or that's not from here. I'm sorry.
Besides you
Us.
and a couple of other people, that's everybody. For me.
Okay, so that's everybody you see. But that I can surmise, everybody in that inn, I recognize them from, like, seeing them here before I arrived. There were already some of them here.
Are we thinking it was foul play from someone like inside the group? Or are we thinking that it might have been some outside source? And I look over at Cost.
And then I
Koss just looks at you, and then just looks at everyone else.
And I just look at Angus again. I think is someone did intervene here. Wouldn't it be easier if you actually worked in the area already? Because I don't recognize any unfamiliar faces.
We believe they're still here. So they might not be with the inn. He's recognized everybody there, so they might be hiding out.
What's the point of doing this? And why wait till we just step into town?
I take a step back and I'm looking around. The point would be we are busy here now fixing this place instead of making our way to Wave Echo Cave and finding the Forge of Souls or spells.
That's a very high probability.
This could be just a bloody, disgusting distraction.
Let's just finish quickly here. Try to get some provisions and move out.
There's nothing else that I can do for these good people. I've healed everybody that I can
We
heal.
need to rest ourselves.
I need a nap and a sandwich.
At minimum. We need to rest. We need to find somewhere safe for ourselves.
It's everybody
And a
like
barrel of ale.
He
It's-
needs a barrel of ale.
yeah. It's
you hear this
everybody.
slight tink noise, and you see Koss lifting up his staff. He gets down on one knee and he moves some of the soot and dirt out of the way, and he pulls up this small, twisted piece of metal about yay big.
This looks promising. Continue.
Appears it might have been a device after all.
That would definitely suggest a distraction. Angus could be possibly correct. Either way, we need to rest.
Is there a safe place where we can nap?
The barracks,
The barracks.
most likely, where Silder is currently. It's
We
beneath
found
the
this
manor.
really
The barracks.
awesome
I don't
place.
remember. the
So
barracks.
under the manor, there's a really great barrack that they've built under the manor. It
Gotcha.
seems extremely safe, fortified weaponry.
Not to interrupt, but does this look familiar to you? And he turns over the metal piece, and there is gold. You catch the color of gold on one side of the metal piece, and it looks like a dried gold liquid of some kind.
Dried gold liquid. Do I recognize it?
Make an intelligence check.
And I'm guessing everybody's attempting to look into it, right?
Oh, I'm nosy as hell. Yes. I
Yeah.
am.
And he's holding it out for all of you.
Yeah, we're leaving.
Nope.
Ooh, shiny.
It's intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a 1.
That's a 10.
Are any of you proficient in medicine?
I am. No, I'm not.
I am not. That's what I said.
21.
He is.
I am.
He's proficient in intelligence. This is a wild.
That's is it
That's medicine.
at disadvantage?
No, did you want me to roll medicine or do you want me to
No, I
roll?
was just asking if you were proficient.
Oh, okay.
15.
15? The way he runs his fingernail across the dried liquid and the way that it flakes a little bit, you recognize that it's coagulated blood. The way that it bunches on his fingernail. But it's gold.
It seems like golden blood. Does your brother bleed gold?
Technically, he does, right?
He does.
He's a gold dragonborn. This could be some type of.
I immediately start freaking out, just looking about. You know, you ever seen these scenes in the movies when you start going like this and they show the camera like going around the person?
So you start having a montage and you're talking about everything.
Montage. So
And I'm just like looking to see.
your brother.
I recall mentioning once to you that dragon blood is powerful.
But there's no body parts, right?
None that I've seen.
Could they have made some type of
I mean,
explosion out of his blood?
see if I can suss out anything else.
And you see him do the same muttering and hand gestures he did when he held your staff.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
I saw that he's casting Identify.
Yes.
this was something called a devastation form.
I'd say so.
It contained a spell set to trigger at a certain time.
Do we know how old it was? Like,
Well, it was apparently set 3 days ago. But what this used to be, they detonate at a certain time. Unfortunately, you can't configure exactly when, but with sufficient magic, after it is created, you know about how long you have. But I would imagine using such a weapon, you send it to a place and then you don't be there when it goes off.
3 days ago, where were we?
2 days ago is when we had all of our packs stolen.
And then 3 days we were at Crime Castle.
We were leaving Cragmore Castle. Yeah.
How would they know? Oh, they've been watching like so long.
That's what the friendly drow.
Friendly drow. We should call him that now.
Well, I'm being highly sarcastic.
Yeah, I know. So friendly drow.
He didn't seem very friendly.
No, he was very, very friendly. The one that I saw before the two ogres attacked.
The ones that came from me were rather aggressive. I guess they like dwarves.
I got a question.
It must be my charming personality.
So,
Oh, I'm sure.
if you know the name of the person, would a nickname be technically their name?
That could possibly work.
How about we scry to see where the black spider is?
He said he needs to rest.
I know,
before he attempts
but I
that.
mean, like, that would be first thing.
Give me a day, and I can try.
Let's go. So, there's nothing else. Unless,
Well, we know they're probably no longer here. They probably set this off and left.
they were.
As you said, you would
Yeah,
set it and leave.
but that would mean they knew we were coming this way. We just decided to actually come to Phandelver.
We decided after we got
Who
conquered.
says it's for us?
The Lord's Alliance presence is never subtle, so everyone in the area would know they're here.
Yeah, but they're running a really big risk to just come through town 3 days ago and put something in the middle of the town, and then keep on going,
It could have been for Gariel or Sildur or anybody,
or the whole town.
or the entire town.
But 3 days ago, we made the decision to come back here. It's the timing of everything that's happened
So
since
far,
we found Gundren is
whoever it was is no longer here.
probably not. I still highly believe this was a distraction to get us
I agree.
to wait to get to Echo
I don't
Cave.
think this was a murder attempt.
Let's
I
go.
think this was a distraction.
Because if it was a murder attempt, why would it be placed inside of a building
Right.
in the front of the building, right?
instead of the middle of the town? I mean, I would put it in the inn.
Correct.
There. Okay. Let's
Let's go rest
go rest,
to the barracks.
restock, and then take our leave. We got a long road.
I'm gonna go up to the bartender and ask if he has a barrel tucked away.
He see Tolvin. Now the side of his head is bandaged up, and he looks a little bit better than he did.
Yeah, you know what? I got something to say thank you.
And he goes in the back, and he pulls a small keg. It's only about this big, about that.
So it's half my size.
So it's only one night's worth.
But he comes back with it,
You can roll.
and he hands it to you, and he said,
I've been saving this for years. This is proper dwarvish brew. I was hoping this would be for a happier occasion, but it's my way of saying thank you. They tell me it's been aged in the heart of Mithril Hall, so I guess for you it's a bit of a taste of home.
Well, I really appreciate this,
No, thank you.
but it's a good day. You're on this side of the ground.
Yeah, that's some truth to that. Yeah.
I look at Val and I ask, Sergeant Val.
Sergeant.
So
Someone's got delusions of grandeur.
apparently he got promoted. So, Sergeant Val, can you maybe ask some of the shopkeepers, whatever they have left, let them know we need any provisions we can get. Healing potions, all of our packs are gone, as we know. Whatever we can grab, because we came back to resupply. And if we need to purchase and pay back at a later date, you know Sildur's paying us back.
How about we ask Soldier so they can assemble it without us needing to parse through?
However you want to go, but we need
That's
provisions.
normally how, right? You make a higher request and then they send the people to like gather stuff.
typically.
That
Yeah.
seems fair. I know you look half dead. I'm exhausted.
I need rest, but we also need provisions when we wake up, so we could put the word out and then tomorrow see what stores are still intact to find out what we can even assess for our travels.
Before we crash out, just make a list of each of what we would prefer.
We'll keep it to necessities, but for sure.
So I grab one of the mugs, I pour some of the brew into it, and I hand it to Val. I'm like, 2 promotions.
Am I currently working?
That one's up to you, Sergeant.
I'm like, yep, me
I mean-
too.
Like, as far as I know, active members of military services don't clock out necessarily.
Okay, so I just go for it.
I lift the casket and start doubting it.
Val, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
About time.
Good night.
12.
12.
Oh, you're fine.
You feel pretty damn drunk. This stuff is strong.
Bad timing. All right.
So you're not poisoned per se, but you're like,
You're close.
oh,
So from
wow.
my past, I can see how it hit him,
Are you gonna do that?
which is why I didn't drink. No, I say, you're going to sleep really good tonight.
let's head back to the barracks.
I'll drink to that and take another pull.
For you, it's proper dwarvish ale. This is the good stuff. Apparently, Tobin had some really good stuff there in the back. But yeah, for a dwarf, you're like, this is good. This is strong. I like this. For a human, like, you're a little surprised if Val's actually still on his feet just from it hitting his mouth.
Before we head to the barracks, I'm gonna try to talk to Barathon and let him know that tomorrow morning or whatever time it is that we're leaving.
So I was about to say, right now it's still the morning.
Yeah, so
You guys have had a long morning.
Yeah.
it's like we had a long. I'm just gonna tell him we had a long trip. We're gonna be heading out, and there's in the name of the Lord's Alliance, there's gonna be some emergency supplies that we're gonna need to head out immediately.
So, yeah, whatever you need, just take it. Just take it. I don't think I want to be dealing with anything just yet. I think he kind of grabs the two kids, kind of pulls them a little closer. He's like, I'm just kind of happy we're all here. I can figure this stuff out later. And I mean, coins don't burn. I'll find them.
Okay. And then that's true. Are we heading back to the barracks?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're over there talking because you're in the inn talking to.
One real quick, yeah.
Okay. So I kind of just yelled at the door. All right, Sergeant Val, you ready to head out?
A couple of the guardsmen, when you say that, a couple of the guardsmen just kind of stand up, and two of them salute you, and one of the solutions like, yeah, like good on you.
At ease. And then I just.
I smile because I did it all on purpose, but I wanted him to get the recognition. Is what it was. He's too humble.
Yes, come, Sergeant.
I just start moving. Let's go. When I get to the barracks, I do want to ask Silder
I think he's shy.
if he noticed any of his men or anybody from town 3 days ago just like leave immediately. Like
He thinks back in.
3 days ago. No. I put Gertz and Arl on patrol, but they came back, they didn't report anything. So, as far as I know, up until this morning, all of my men were accounted for. No one new came into town that I noticed. There were no disturbances of any kind. I would have noticed that.
Unless someone came in the middle of the night, dug up
there's still a patrol.
dug up a hole, dropped a bomb, covered it back up, and took off. But the odds of that are probably astronomical.
If it was one of these godforsaken drow, they usually operate at night. They don't like the sunlight very much.
Don't we have
These damn
patrols?
things could have snuck in.
We're gonna need to have a talk once we're woken and fully rested with the one we brought in. We have a nice long conversation with him.
We're a time crunch though. Has somebody started interrogating him?
No, right now he still seems to be asleep. I've just been coordinating with my men right now, but when I get to him, we'll poke him with a stick, see if he's still sleeping.
I have an idea on how to wake him up.
Is it the L? Because you're gonna put him to sleep.
Care to share?
Splash him with a whole bunch of water.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna ask if you wanted to bring your water demons with you.
They don't like sunlight, do they? You said?
They're not a fan of it, no.
Do we have anybody that can like make a projection of like light that's intense or radiant or anything like that?
I think I've seen Angus do that a handful of 100 times.
That's magical. It's different.
Isn't it bright?
I was going to say that's a question for your friend here.
So how about we just put him outside for now? Let him bask in our sun for a little bit.
I mean, I'd prefer him to be awake before he's tortured.
I did not mention torture. I just wanted to wake him up.
Putting him out in the sunlight, if it hurts him, that's torture.
Well, sunlight doesn't hurt the drow. They just can't see very well in it. They're not vampires.
No, I mean, I don't know. I've never met a drow except for one friendly guy and a bunch that tried to kill me. It's a very long story that Sergeant Val will tell you later.
I imagine.
I'm tired. I really need rest.
Is there any place we can rest up here?
Yeah. Lord Albrecht's former quarters I have retrofitted to a guest suite in the barracks in case of a VIP. You three are very much welcome to it.
Is there anywhere else?
In the barracks or
Yeah,
out
like
here?
just it could be with the soldiers or anything. It's just they can take that.
Yeah, there's a few barracks in the back. The back few rooms are all sleeping accommodations.
It's fine. I'll go there. You guys go rest up in the VIP area.
Yeah, I'm going to the VIP area. That sounds like a lot of fun.
You want to show them where it's at?
Hmm. All right.
You see Silder kind of nod to two of his guards and starts heading out of the barracks. So you lead them to the back. So you two are led through these stone-walled and stone-floored complex underneath what had been at one point in time the manor that overlooked the town. And as you traverse slightly deeper through, you come to a large natural cavern. There's a deep crevasse in the middle of it with two bridges spanning it. And Val walks over past them, and you see on the other side of the cavern is more of the stonework. And you pass through one doorway that's open, and you can see that there are a room full of cots set out, a small table, and on the other side of the hallway is a door that is slightly ajar. And you push it open, and inside is a rather well-furnished room, even though it has the hard stone walls and stone tile floor that has there's looks like mostly kind of cast off furniture from town, kind of retrofitted to create sort of a sitting room in here. And there's another door off to the side that Val walks over, pushes open, which was Glassstaff's former room. And you look across, you see the masonry work to seal the secret door that he had used. Still is pretty obvious on the side there to seal it shut. But there is one large bed in here, a small dresser, and a desk.
For being here before, you seem to have looked around a lot. Are you okay?
What do you mean?
What was this place?
It was the hideout of a group called Red Brands, I believe. Right?
Yes.
Okay. It's been quite a few episodes.
Those are the guys that you were telling us about.
Yeah.
That tried to take over the town.
Yeah, but whoever was here later, he's the one that took my brother and killed my other associate, Kismet.
You didn't seem very easy going through these caverns.
This is not the best place for me.
I can see why you didn't choose to stay in this lush establishment.
Understandably so. You put my hand
all
on him,
makes sense.
like, we'll get him back.
We will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Rest up. I'm just gonna do the same. If you need anything, just let any of the guards know.
To kind of be playful, I say, alright, so I wanted him to kind of have a smile of some sorts.
I actually need
He seemed kind of down, so I wanted to...
parchment and quill and ink.
I'm pretty sure this room might have something equal, right?
Yeah, you look around, and there are a few pieces of parchments sitting on the desk in the bedroom.
Found it.
There's a quill and an ink well. So it looks set up to host a dignitary of some type.
You said there was another room that Val...
Yes, there is it's like a 2-room suite.
Okay.
In the first room is set up like a sitting room.
Okay. I'll take the sitting room. You can have the main bed, Angus.
Are you sure?
What about
Yes.
cost? Is there a place for cost here too?
I don't need much.
Not near me. There's not.
That's what I was gonna.
Cost is just looking around.
Angus looks into the cave.
Cost says, would you mind terribly if I took a bed? It's been some time since I slept on a real piece of furniture.
My deal is that we're not gonna have to rest near each other. I don't like what you do. I don't appreciate what you do. I understand that you have your own reasons, and I understand that you probably understand that I have mine.
Well, if I may offer a counterpoint, if I was to take this isolated room, you stand watch. Should anything untoward happen, I could not escape without you noticing.
Out of character, I really can't wait for everybody to see what's happening here, because these two over here are laughing and drinking while I'm
they can
contemplating
see.
on kicking somebody.
Eddie's closest.
I'm just watching.
Yeah. You know what, man? I don't care. Do whatever you want. And I grab the desk with the parchment and the ink and everything, and I'm gonna drag it out into the other room.
The whole desk.
Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with this guy.
Cost is just standing on his staff and just watches you drag the desk out.
And I not so subtly close the door with a lot of might.
Yeah, you slam the door shut, and you hear through the wooden door, you hear, rest well.
Oh god.
Does the door open out towards me?
The
Or
door
the way?
opens into the room.
I was gonna put the desk up against her. Just lock him in there. Good luck getting out.
Okay.
So once I get the desk in an area that I can write, I'm gonna write down everything that's happened in my travels and see if I can get it sent back to Wither Halls.
Okay,
If there's
you call over to one of the guards in the other room, and they come over and, yeah, what?
I need this sent to Mithril Hall. It's my account of what's happened since I have left.
Yeah, all right. Well, be a few days before we send anybody out.
That's fine. By the time I'll be gone on my way, trying to make sure that the rest of this realm is safe.
Right.
It's not hard.
I'll get it to the quartermaster. They'll figure it out.
I appreciate that.
Is
Is anybody looking at us?
He is.
All right. I'm like, here, as a token. And I open up the keg and I'm like, take a little bit. I'll take the edge off.
He takes it and he goes,
Oh,
he takes a sniff.
all right. Obliged, but
I like you more and more. I drink some more.
He's just watching like. You get the sense that he's just like, this dwarf is crazy. And he
This guy needs a raise.
takes the, like,
right, I'll make sure it's getting where it's going.
All right, I say goodnight. I just fall face first and go to sleep.
what, right on the stone floor?
Yep.
Oh,
He's used to that.
You see the dwarf just pitch forward, and you hear the telltale sign that Angus is fine.
yeah.
And you see the guard is still standing there. He looks up at you, looks at the dwarf, looks up at you.
That huge?
Very much so.
Right.
That's how we know he's alive.
Oh, all right. You good?
I'm good.
Right.
And he reaches in, and he, with his foot, kind of pushes Angus out of the way of the door a little bit, very, very softly, kind of pushing him across.
Right.
And he just closes the door, and you hear the clank of him walking away.
Kicks me. My name's Guiding Bolt.
All right, so you just bed down yourself as well.
Yeah, I kind of, the seating area, I make an arrangement where I can kind of just lay as if it was like a couch, I guess. Just kind of.
Okay. Yeah, there's a rug on the floor. You just kind of
Perfect.
bunch it up a little bit. You take one more look over at Angus, and Angus just
Droll's coming out.
Yeah. It's a little foamy because he was halfway through swallowing when he passed out.
Droll is snoring.
Yeah. So yeah, you make yourself a nice little rug nest, and sleep has no difficulty coming to you whatsoever.
Beat.
Value. Did you just head right next door to the barrack or to one of the bunks in the barracks?
Yep, I go ahead. Well, I want to take a quick trip to the area where I saw him fall in last time.
Okay, so you head out into the cavern area and you look at the crevasse, and the edge of the room leads to that passageway that you had escaped out of. And in here now are added towards sconces. This whole area is the entire barracks is very well lit, maintained. And you can see flickering down that passageway is a reinforced barricade to keep it shut. But you look down and there's no markings on the ground, but you remember exactly where you last saw Renton.
Ouch.
I'll just take the coin again and out of my pocket and I start playing with it. Fate's a fickle thing. I'll get you. And then I just head back and rest up.
And as you walk out, the corner of your eye, and you double back, and you don't see anything. But for a second there, you thought you saw vaguely the shape of a woman.
Mom? No. I just go rest up. I let it be. This world is full of strange things, so.
Oh, very much so. So sleep finally finds the three of you and take a long rest here secured in the barracks under Tresender Manor.